Welcome to Smartwatch Ticks, a YouTube channel dedicated to smartwatches, and here's the situation. Holidays are coming. You know you want a smartwatch, and you want to know which one you're going to ask for the holidays. You ready? Here we go. I know. They just came out, the X5 Plus, the Q3 Plus, and I'm as confused as you are, folks. Which one should we buy? Well, let's look at the differences. I got videos out there that go into deep detail in both of them. Watch those if you want to see what they're all about. This is about what they're different, okay? First of all, they're different in price. The 11.11, which is like today in China, price right now is 111.11 on the X5 Plus. It's probably going to go up before it goes down, but we are moving into holiday season. So check the links below, the AliExpress web presence for FINOW with a listing for purchasing this watch. If it's not that price, a little bit more, I'm hoping I'll have some information on how you can get a bit of a discount on whatever the current price is. But remember, we've got Black Friday coming up here and Thanksgiving and so forth. So the X5 Plus is 111.11. And the Q3 Plus is $99.99. So that's what, $11 difference? What's different about them that's worth $11 for the 3-button X5 Plus over the single-button Q3 Plus? So let's look at the differences in these watches. Here they are. Fresh off the turnip truck, right? These are, first of all, both engineering prototypes. These are not the production units, although I'd say they're awfully close to it. All the other ones have been just differences in firmware pretty much. And once the firmware was updated to the latest version, well, we were on track with the same thing that you're going to get commercially. With that said, the biggest thing that usually changes are the watch faces. Yes, I omitted showing you the watch faces in the original reviews of both of these because they may change. But now I'm going to give you that warning. Warning! What you're about to see may be different than the watch that you get because they haven't finalized it yet. But let's take a walk through the actual installed watch faces in both of these watches. I haven't added any additional watch faces in here yet. Again, this is the X5 Plus on this side, the Q3 on. Just look at the buttons, the 3-button, the single button. And let's look at the watch faces. So the installed watch faces here. Oh my goodness, I'm scooting way ahead. There we go. Pretty creative ones. Now, I know FINOW has been working with the different developers on the G Plus community to install some of the custom watch faces that the users have put together and offered for release. And so you're seeing some of those, I believe, showing up here on the X5 Plus, because I definitely have seen these before on the G Plus community. Here we are, back to that one that we just saw over here, right? Okay, so maybe now those first two were put in. Okay, looks like now we're tracking with the standard ones. You don't mind if I don't go right into these, right? You know what they look like. We've shown these on other watches before. So these are like the basic stock watch faces that come. Okay, here's something different on this one. That watch face is not yet on this one because it goes right to there, and there, and there. Okay. These are the turbo blade that rotates with the date in the middle on both of them. Now again, we remind you, what you're going to get may be different, and even if it's the same, you can always add your own watch faces if you want to later on as well, because you have two different options to do that. Oh, look at that, there's something different. One of these is different. Okay, this looks different. And there we go, that's that same one, right? So each of them has like one or two little extras that have been thrown in. And that's it. Then you get to the plus sign, which if you're on the network, is where you can load up and add additional watch faces to your watch. And look at that, even there, they're in a different order. You see some of these, most of these, are already installed. So it's hard to tell what you're actually going to get shipped with as your bottom line final version. But we'll see. Here's one of my favorite faces I like to install from that plus sign, mostly because I get a nice battery reading. I can keep an eye on that, and the time is big and bold, so in bright sunlight I can see it really easily. Ah, there we go. That's the watch faces. Now, something else has come up. These are getting so complicated to review anymore. This is about the screen. Let me go back to this one here. Oh, I don't have that one on this one yet. Let me add that. Okay, this is a real subtle dark one. And I want you to look carefully at it. Look at the screen. And I really apologize about the reflections. If I do this in total darkness, it washes out the background. So I have to have a blend of background and foreground. And unfortunately, there we go. That's the one we want. Install it. And we're going to bail out of here and come over here. There we go. Okay, now I got them both going. There's something about the screens. Now, let's talk about the X5 Plus first. This is a A+ screen, they say. This is the AMO LED screen is top-notch quality, and really hard to show you that, but everything looks great on this screen. It shows no artifacts, no issues, no nothing. It's a really nice screen. This is the Q3 Plus screen. Now, I want you to take a look. I really don't know if you can pick this up or not. But do you see up where the second hand is about now? There's a little red dot. You see it going near a little green dot. In fact, if you look all over the screen, you see what look like a bunch of little stars. Is it better this way? I know you're looking right up into the camera, but the things I'm pointing out here seem to be little artifacts, and they're showing up over time. The longer I have the watch on, I've noticed that they seem to be coming out. If I move between watch faces, you see they're staying still, like that little red one right there. So I don't know. I haven't heard about the quality of the screen, whether it's a Class B or whatever, but I am seeing artifacts. There's a blue one right near the center of the watch. Do you see that one? Is that coming through? The red one up at the top. In fact, what I want to do, pick one, and go over here to the apps and to benchmark. We did the benchmark thing on both of them, and I know you guys want to see the report, right? I did that in the other one, but just so that you see a comparison. It holds the last score automatically, so since it's so easy to do, I'll pull this up. And there we go, 22,899, 22,852. Are you seeing the little dots on that one? There's like flashes on the screen that don't move, and there's more of them coming. What I want to do is go down into more and run that screen test thing and see what it looks like. Compare the screens together. See if you're seeing any dots on one or not the other. For me, it was most obvious when it got to the grayscale screen. Now again, there you go. Look in the black one. See on the right? And I'm not spitting on it. Well, I do. Actually, I do spit on it. But I try to wipe it off. Right now, it's clean. There's a difference, I think, between the screens, is all I can say. This one has a beautiful, pure, sharp, clean screen with lots of dark. And this one seems to have dots and speckles on it. That could be because it's an engineering prototype. I'm not going to attribute one sample to being the characteristic of all of them. And I have not seen that on the original Q3, nor have I seen it on the original X5. But on the X5 Plus, compared with the Q3 Plus, I am seeing something different on the screen itself. So that's a difference. All right, what else is different? The bands are identical, and they're really nice looking bands. They're the leather bands. The back of the watches are different in that the more expensive one uses metal, the less expensive one uses plastic, but the docks are identical. No change there. There are a few things different, though, that I want you to see that are software specific. Let's get over here to the settings on both of these. Okay. These are the same, connections the same, emergency contact stuff is the same, date and time are the same, but when you get to the display, check it out. The two watches are different. Now, this could be controlled by firmware, and it is earlier firmware installed on the Q3 than it is on the X5 Plus. And this might end up being appearing on this watch, because it certainly should. There's other entries in here called interface style, default clock, and wallpaper clock. They're not here on this one. When you go to interface style, this is a biggie, folks. This is that quintessential thing where you can choose between having third-party apps take up the whole screen, meaning the corners are off the edges and you can't touch those areas, or switching it to where an app will reside in a square within the circle, so that the edges are, not part of the app, but you can get right to the very corners of the apps. That's really cool because you can put it in this, set all your parameters in your menu settings, then switch it back and run it in full screen mode. In the original Q3, that is now implemented in a firmware update that shows up when you press and hold the button to turn it off. It's up here at the top. Not so in the original X5. So now we've got the X5 Plus that has this feature buried deep here in the display area under interface style, and you don't have that at all in this one, the Q3 Plus. So software-wise, there's some things shifting and changing, and I don't know whether to tell you that you should buy today because it's in this one and not in this one, or what. It's a work in progress. This is software stuff that can be added later. The default clock takes you right into the thing where you just pick which clock face you want. And wallpaper clock is something where you can create your own watch face by putting your own image there, your grandchild or whatever, and a little digital clock on the screen. I have a couple of videos out, other watches we've done that on. That feature is in here as well, but not on this one. Okay, that's something that is showing up in the display that's different. The sound is the same, power saving is the same, the text-to-speech, resetting the device, uninstalling, all of those other things are the same. I've checked every one of them. Battery, language and input, all of this is the same. And the About phone, of course, is different because of the different software installed. So the X5 Plus has the feature that's really nice about being able to adjust the third-party apps that will probably show up in this one. See the little dots coming out in the black background there? Getting really colorful now. But it's not there now. Both of them, when you press and hold, you get the display for the SOS and the buttons to shut down or restart. So all of that's the same. Pretty much everything else, including the memory that's available, RAM, ROM, whatever you want to call them, is all the same. The Antutu scores are the same. So the differences are 3 buttons. This one being kind of a back button, this one being an immediate home back to your watch face, and press and hold to shut off. In fact, these two are identical in their functionality. This is an added one that lets you go back one level at a time. Pressing and holding does nothing. This bottom one, pressing lightly does nothing, but pressing and holding brings up the SOS function. Wow, at least it used to. There you go. Had to do it a few seconds. And that would allow you to immediately call the emergency contact that you've set up. Otherwise, you press and hold this one and hit the SOS button, and it gets you to the same place. So 2 ways of getting to that emergency thing on this one, and this one 1 way, and it's the press and hold, and you get to that face as well. Okay? That function, the button's useless on this one other than for that, and this one, pressing and holding, does nothing at all. It's just simply for going back to your main screen or to 1 level higher of wherever you are. So, decisions. You want to see inside just to see if the build quality is any different? All right, let's take them apart. Well, there they are, taken apart. I never know where I'm going to go with these videos when I start. I had no idea I'd go here, but here we are. Let's start with the 3-button X5 Plus. Here's what it looks like inside. It has a little metal plate kind of covering everything, but I opened up most of it. I think I can take it off so we can look at what's underneath. Seems to be held on this corner left still. There. All right. Just a protective metal cover. Set that up here. And here is what we have inside this watch. Trying to get you some decent lighting on there. As we talk about often, 2 good things to know about are where do you put in your SIM card and how do you disconnect the battery in case the thing freezes up on you, right? Seems to be better without the light. Well, the battery hookup is right here. And the way you release that is to go underneath it and pull it up, and the pins will come out like that. Got that? So if you're going to be flashing a ROM and you're in what they call boot looping or something and it won't stop, you got to disconnect the battery. If you got issues with your watch faces, blah, blah, blah. Then you push it back down and you're connected again. As far as the micro nano SIM card goes, you just simply put it right in there. Okay? And close it and push it back. That's your speaker. And just for those of you who are asking about waterproofing, oh, I hate to do this, but let's do it. Look, there's a rubber seal and a secondary cloth, but the holes look like it goes right through the cloth. So as long as that rubber seal makes decent contact here with that metal surface, that irregular metal surface, you might have waterproofing, but I imagine water would get in onto the speaker itself. Not seeing much in terms of waterproofing for this. I mentioned in one of the videos that the fact that this is right against your arm, you know, when you have the watch on, it's like this. And if you sweat like I do and you're out exercising, there's going to be some water potential in there. But like I also mentioned, I haven't had anybody report that they've got water damage to their watches, especially just from water coming in the speaker port. And that's where it is on a lot of watches. So they must be protecting it somehow. And I guess it's that rubber grommet thing. All right, that is the inside of the X5 Plus. Now, the Q3 Plus also loosened up to the point where we should be able to take this off. Getting it back is going to be another story, and I get to do that off camera. Then you don't hear me and all my expletives. Okay. Here we are in the Q3 Plus. Ooh, nice sharp picture. Okay. The battery connectors right in the same place. All of this looks like it's the same. Press, lift, put in your voice SIM card, data SIM card, close it. All right, are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Sure looks like the same exact innards, doesn't it? Of course, over on the button side, there's 2 extra buttons. But other than that, I bet you could take the insides of this and put them over here and flip them back, and everything would be pretty much the same. So the inside is identical, we could call it. So the only differences between the two, that could justify that $11 price difference would be 3 buttons instead of 1, right? Little bit in the software, firmware setup. Ooh, I forgot to turn that one off. That's not good. But it's good I left it on because I also wanted to show you the display, because that could be potentially a difference as well, that the display quality of the AMOLED round display on the Q3 may not be as high a quality as we found it on the X5 Plus. And there is a comparison between the two. Hey, I'm going to ask, I don't ask this often, but on this video, will you give me a thumbs up at the bottom? It seems that all those videos that have the thumbs up tend to get searched. They come up in the search results better. And not so much for me as for everybody else out there. Of all the watch videos on the Q3 Plus and the X5 Plus, this should be the one that pops up for everybody to view, especially with the screen thing going on. So give me a thumbs up if you don't mind, and that will get this one as hopefully the first one to show up regarding these new watches. And from there, you can click on these little boxes that are showing up to go and look at the reviews or look at the unboxing, whatever else you'd like to do. You've been watching Smartwatch Tics. Appreciate your subscription and your thumbs up. And wow, there you have it.